I still I still don't know what this is going to be called. I have to come up with a name soon. Well, at some point, because I've actually decided to do it through like an actual I don't know what they're called, podcast client. I don't know what it's called. I legitimately don't. I just looked up a bunch and then clicked one. Anyway, so I can't do any more of these until I figure until I finish setting that up, which is not actually that hard. I don't know why I said it like it's gonna take forever. It's like a day. But the point is, the reason why I'm saying it is because it'll be switch. I don't know. It's not important. Anyway, the actual reason why I'm doing this is because this one got cut off because my internet decided to do some weird reboot or something. I don't know. And it like just shut off for like 2 hours, so I couldn't, finish it. Well, I mean, I couldn't because I had to leave after that anyway, so. But that's what happens with that. It just kind of stops. So I guess I could have. But yeah, so that's what happened with that. Eh, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna cut to it and move on with my life. I'm good.
Um, so I've been watching your TikToks. They're pretty cool, man. Big fan.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, one recently that spiked my interest was the MBTI one. You're an INTJ.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm an ENFP. INTJ is like the rarest, and they're like I think the biggest community of MBTI. Like they have the largest Reddit or subreddit, so they're like the most into it usually, according
Oh,
to.
okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So
Hmm.
So do you want to discuss like your policies and stuff and like what inspired you to, you know?
Um. Yeah, we can talk about that. Listen, this is officially the second one of these I've done. So
Right.
I'm still trying to Oh, hold on. I'm still trying to figure it out. So um. I'm just seeing what works. So if you can ask me whatever you want.
Okay. Shit. Uh
I mean,
so what made you like it seems like you gave up on this world. Like at what moment did you like become like frustrated and just choose apathy as like the path for your life? You know? Like I is that true even? Like
no, I mean that's true. So okay, I need to make it clear. I've never really I was always like this, but I guess the actual time when it became like my actual driving force would have been, oh man, I guess it would have been before Trump tried to be president. I guess it was just everything because when I was a kid, well, when most people are kids, you don't know about what's going on in the world because, you're a
mhm.
kid. So stuff like that doesn't really affect you unless you're like, involved in it. But then I kind of just, saw what was going on in the world and I realized that nobody actually knows what they're doing. They're kind of all just making it up as they go. But the problem is that because none of them actually know, they're all just kind of going in different directions. But when you're a kid, you get told that you have to know what you're doing, you have to make a plan, or this, that, and the other. Once I realized that that was all a lie, I pretty much immediately gave up on trying to be a so-called responsible adult.
Yeah, that's really interesting, you know. I mean, there's so many just different like limitless possibilities, you know, in this life, and there's just so much to do or that's available to you and so much that can change so quickly.
Yeah,
It's just it I can see like it being kind of overwhelming and you know that apathy like it's like what can you control exactly? Well, you can control not caring.
right.
You know, you can control not getting a job or just you know staying at home. So if you want to know what you're doing all the time, that's the way to go about it.
Right.
So yeah, and that's, I think it's interesting, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Trump inspired a lot of people to be president, you know,
I
because
mean,
yeah,
him and Kanye, yeah.
yeah,
The problem is that they inspired them to like actually do it because they think that they can. They inspired me that the country is such a mess that anyone can do it regardless of whether they're qualified or not. So,
yeah. And coming from not only a non-politician's place, but a non-politician's place with not the best reputation, and then somehow, in Trump's case, making his reputation worse to a lot of people, but
yeah,
also making it like limitlessly times better to others. I mean, you have to if you want to get elected.
exactly. So, I mean, the way I see it,
Yeah.
all I have to do is be, technically, I don't even have to be, I can just be not as bad as Trump and still seem like a better person.
I don't know. Anyone really.
It,
It
it
does.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it really is all lies though in the end. If you just lie enough that you'll do everything and are certain about it, confident about it, keep getting your message out there, keep spreading that message, you'll
Well,
convince someone.
I mean, that's the thing. Because, I mean, I understand why people believe stuff like that. Because, again, people want to believe in stuff. Like, that's like everything
Yeah.
that exists in the world is based off of someone's belief in that it was possible.
Yeah, it's comforting to be optimistic.
Right.
Also, I think.
Which is why I'm not. And again, a lot of people have an issue with that because they think I'm like down on myself, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm just, not lost in a dream that might never happen.
I think you can make the most of your life though. Like in
Oh,
some
sure.
yeah. You know, like I think for some people giving up is just there's nothing to it almost. And even if you are living in a dream, you know, it's still less than what could be.
See, because you're right. And I've always thought that was, I don't know if it's interesting or weird about my personality. Because I've said this like my actual friends. Everything about my personality screams that I should have tried to kill myself.
Jesus Christ.
Like, I'm serious. Like, because again, I grew up, doing all of the insanity on the internet. I've read all those same blogs. Like all
Yeah.
of the stuff that make up my personality, hypothetically speaking, I should be all of those people. I should be a shut-in that has nothing going for me and is just waiting until I die. But somehow my brain is like rewired in like this weird way to where instead of me just giving up, it actually giving up, it has like become my driving force, which is also where my ego comes from. Because if that's how that worked, then I am incredible.
That's really interesting. But like what so like all the boxes fit, like all the check marks are in the boxes for that direction you're saying basically like
Listen to me. Okay. So, yes, like I'm sure there's like some things that like are off here and there, but so I didn't have a lot of friends. I never got laid. Again, I didn't want to, but even in retrospect, I didn't know that back then. The
yeah.
fact that I didn't was still like a thing that stuck with me. Um, I got picked on, not a lot, but I guess like, because again, some people that flip out like that don't get picked on that much either. They're just, they just focus on it a lot.
Hmm.
And like, I can't think of the stuff right now, but like, there's like, presumably all of the stuff that you see these people talk about in all their blogs and whatever, it's like the same thing that I went through. But granted, like all the people go through it, but like, I don't know, it's weird because people like, I'm just saying, like from what I understand, I should be in that same wheelhouse. But Instead, I'm not. I'm like an outlier, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I don't a lot of those people are very angry and they just
Yeah,
develop anger over time mostly, I think.
and that's yeah, that's true. They do,
Yeah.
but and I guess it was because in school I like to practice. I I became a master of my not give a fuck,
Right.
and I guess at that point I was just able to, you know, come to terms with that. So stuff that happened never really mattered to me.
I can see that in a lot of people I'm around too, you know. The best way to deal with everything is just say I don't care
Right.
and then just focus on the things you do care about, you
Exactly.
know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's a very good approach, I think, with a lot of things. I mean, with things you don't like, of course.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, just speaks a lot. Do you want to hear my impression of you?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got to hear this.
I don't really care. It's all gonna end. It's all gonna end.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm not the words, just like the voice and stuff like.
Listen,
It'll be okay. I
I
get it.
so I don't know if you saw it because the TikTok that I posted about how that I vote to see if I sound from the UK or not, or London or England or wherever.
Yeah.
I never thought I sounded like anything. But like people, like I said, people in school when I was growing up kept asking me if I was like a transfer student or something, or if I was like born in like England. It's like, no, I don't know, talk like this. I have no idea what I sound like when I talk, because that's how people, skulls work. It like reverberates through the skull, and that's what you sound like to yourself. That's why people think that they can sing.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what I sound like, and I can't watch my videos back because actually listening to myself talk makes me want to run my brain through a cheese grater. So I don't do that either.
You sound like you're from New York or like the New York area.
That's what people. That's been seeing that a lot because people have also been comparing me to like Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know. All right.
It did. I noticed like a lot of people like from Long Island or like New York area, like they say like stuff like saw,
Yeah.
and then like a lot of people in the UK they said that say that also.
Okay. Okay.
So
I see.
so like those slight things, like I think maybe the more eastern you live in the US, the closer you sound to England because of some weird geography, cultural weird stuff. I don't know exactly why, but that just
Oh.
like I noticed some similarities between those two accents, and
Oh.
it's just like I don't know why that is exactly. I just noticed it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
Wow.
Fuck you wanted to be a chef?
Yes, I went to culinary school. Well, for the record, I didn't want to be a chef. I liked cooking, and like everyone ever who sees their kid doing something that they're mildly good at, they just start throwing, "Hey, you should go to school to do this."
That's facts.
And again, I believed it because, of course, why wouldn't I? So I went to culinary school, and then I went to culinary school, and I realized that I would actually have to cook for people, and then I remembered I hate dealing with people. And I realized that this was not going to work. So when I dropped out, because I couldn't pay the tuition for the second year anyway. So when they kicked me out, I just never went back because it's like, I'm not doing this. I'll stab someone because
Right.
being a chef of any type is awful. And the higher up you go, the more likely you are to commit, well, not murder, but manslaughter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I luckily avoided all that, and I still learned like some pretty good stuff in the first year. So it was technically a win-win.
Right. Listen, from the way like oh, but Jesus Christ. Oh, from the way that you like explain like how much you don't like people or you can't stand them all the time. I think this is the best approach for you, honestly, because if you're around people too much, that anger that a lot of people who kill themselves develop. I don't know if you maybe would or maybe wouldn't. I don't know where you would be in the future, but this is all hypothetical.
Sure.
So for your own, you know, mental health, I think maybe being alone just fits you better, I guess.
Yeah,
Would
absolutely.
you agree with that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But over time, I don't know what kind of person you are, but I had an uncle who hated people also for a while. And like he recently he's like in his 50s now and he's crazy. So that's it's kind of probably shouldn't have said that was too much information. So people in my family would get mad at me for that. Oh.
Well, I mean,
They won't see this. It's
I'm a
fine.
nobody right now. Yeah, it's fine. It won't matter.
Yeah,
I don't have, I'm a nobody.
it'll be all right.
But yeah,
So,
so, and,
what's your FYP like on TikTok?
oh, that's nothing but like cosplayers and like, people from like all communities like goth, emo, and everything else.
Really?
Yeah, like some comedians, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, because like again, I'm into like a bunch of like and some comic book stuff. Like I'm into like anime and stuff. So I get
Right.
people that talk about anime, and of course I get and also cosplayers, and from that it got into like punk and goth stuff because I was like when the whole Beetlejuice musical was a thing that showed up, so of course I liked all of those. So yeah, my For You page is really nothing but people that are either dressed in mostly black or that are just dressed up like anime characters for like 80% of it.
That's a lot different. Mine's all like sports and like uh weightlifting because I'm trying to get big.
Hmm.
And then I don't know what else. It's just and then all the pop. Do you still get the popular like what blows up like dance video stuff still like?
I have absolutely no idea what's popular on TikTok. Like,
Oh, I can't get that off. I try to get it off because I hate trends. Like I
hmm,
really hate trends. They just bother me. So I
right.
try to get that stuff off of there, but I just can't.
Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on with Trisha Paytas and the D'Amelio sisters until the other alternative people started talking about it on their pages. I had no idea what was going on with them.
That's I get in a lot of those situations also. I'm like, how did I not know this was happening? And then
Yeah.
you watch like someone like H3 Productions talk about it or something or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I like him a lot. Some other cool ones.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm young still. Like I'm 18.
Okay.
So like the rest of the world's ahead of me and I'm fascinated by all the different things you can do because I feel like there's so much you can do and I like don't think about it ever.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I think of something that I want to do and then I find something else and then it replaces that and then every 2 months there's a new thing I want to do.
I mean, I'm like that now.
Yeah. It just there's so much. It's crazy. So anybody who lives their life like a different way just kind of fascinates me.
Sure. Sure.
So I think that's why I'm so drawn to your content, honestly.
Hmm.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, because for the record, I have no idea where my videos pop up. Like, I don't know, because, like, you can usually tell where your own videos will come up on, depending on, the stuff that you do. But seeing how it's nothing but my insane ramblings, I have no idea where, because again, I think I'm on a completely different side of TikTok, and I think my videos actually end up. I think. I don't know if that's how that works or not.
I don't know. I don't know what category of TikTok you would be on.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real category
As
there
far
for
as I
that.
know, I'm in like this black hole that just randomly opens up and like everyone's page because like no one seems to understand why I keep showing up on their phone and I can't explain it.
I mean, for one, politics is really big, and you kind of discuss it sometimes. It's the focus of the whole page, but it's not discussed really commonly all the time.
Why?
Yeah. So it kind of relates to that. I think that's the first thing.
Hmm.
And then after that, I guess just interesting people. I don't know exactly, like,
Yeah.
but that's really general also.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about too.
Yeah.
It popped up on mine one day, and I followed, and so then I started seeing all my followers or the following thing.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
I'm fine with being an anomaly. I'll live that. I'll have that on my back. I don't know how that saying goes.
I don't know either. Shit. What kind of you watch any? You said you were inspired by movies a lot at one TikTok I saw when you were a kid, of course. What
Oh,
movies do you like now?
well, I mean, I like a bunch of movies now. I'll pretty much watch anything. Um, I don't even remember what this movie was called, but so I just saw this movie like a couple of months ago, and it was actually like one of the worst movies that I've ever seen.
Right.
It was I don't know. This plot has been used in a bunch of ones. It's the plot where society has been split and like all the rich people went off to live in like their own little community after the world ended, and like the rest of them were left out and evolved and just kept fighting and killing each other.
Yeah, that very repetitive. It's not so.
Yeah, but this is the movie that it was based off of, and it was just terrible because the view that they had of the people who became immortal and were just like living in high society were like I don't know how to explain it. I wish I remember what it was called, but they were just like the weirdest bunch, and they wore like nothing but silk, like not even like silk clothing, but like if they took like just sheets of silk and wrapped it around themselves and then sewed it together, you know, and they acted like this is what people were really going to become in the future. It just seemed like they hated the people that were growing up when they were making this movie, and then this is what they based it off of. And it was just painful to watch.
Yeah, it
But
seems just
my
I don't. I wouldn't like that at all.
yeah, you know, I didn't either. My
Yeah.
point is that I will literally watch anything to understand to see the whole story, even if I have to suffer through it. That's
How? It's how can you do that?
because because I'm a nerd. Like one of the things that I don't know if this is true to like every nerd, but one thing that is true to most of them is that they will suffer through something in order to finish it. Like, because I know that if people who read a bad book, they will suffer through finishing the rest of it to understand it. Movies, video games. You said you're into sports, right?
Yeah.
Sure, like there was some. I even talked to some people who will suffer through like the rest of their game, even though whatever team is down by like 10 points and they're in like the last quarter because you know they have to finish.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean,
I kind of get it. Like I suffered through the seasons 5 to what is it 9 of The Office? No, 6 to 9 of The Office. Some of
oh
the
yeah,
I hated that's so bad.
oh
People
yeah,
who can watch that, I don't get you. Like it's not
Office,
funny at all.
The Office, Lost,
I didn't watch Lost.
um, what is it? Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah, again, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. Or yeah, shit. I need to watch more TV shows. I don't watch enough TV shows.
I mean, most TV shows are like all the same.
They are very similar.
like I stopped watching TV with the exceptions of the stuff that I was like already watching. But again, I'm still just suffering through it because I can't stop. Like The Simpsons and Family Guy. Like I wish they would just like stop both of those. But as long as they keep making those godforsaken shows, I'll keep watching them.
I stopped watching Family Guy, I think season 8. Like I don't watch anything past season 8 of Family
And
Guy.
that is a respectable choice.
Yeah.
But I, on the other hand, choose to torture myself. So here I am.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's so bad now.
It
Like it's so bad.
it is. I mean, again, I'm not arguing with you. I'm
Yeah, I know.
telling you, you made the right choice. Listen, don't check up on it. Nothing. Just forget it exists.
I definitely suffer through certain things.
You
I
know.
think everyone does. I don't do it to the extent you do, I don't think.
Well, no, I very few people do to the extent that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, again, my whole point behind this is throwing myself into this hellscape of politics simply because, well, fuck those guys. They don't get to do whatever the hell they want and get away with it. So here I am.
I'm really curious to see where this goes. Like if you keep getting traction and traction, and then
Uh,
it just builds to a point where you get on a debate or something,
Listen,
that would be the goal. I mean, Kanye didn't get there.
no, he
20
didn't.
Yeah. Maybe 2024 or yeah.
All I actually need. So, okay, here's my actual outline, the best that I understand it right now. Is first I got the TikTok, which worked. But again, I can't keep going on that because you have to be like actively interesting. Again, the fact that everyone that you all like me is cool, but like you need to like actively be interesting to keep going up because TikTok are managed by crazy people, which I can't do. So that's why I'm doing this now. So all I need now is for somebody, like anyone on like YouTube, like one of the commentator channels, to talk about what I'm doing and to just keep going up the ladder like that. That's pretty much what my plan is, in like the loosest sense of the term.
That could work. I can see that working.
I mean, because the reason why stuff loses traction generally is because it's only based off of like celebrity level, which once you reach a certain level, no one cares about. Like no one outside of TikTok cares about what happens on TikTok unless you're Charlie or her sister.
Or unless you blew up somewhere before you blew up on TikTok
Well,
and then switched to
exactly.
TikTok.
Well, yeah, but everyone
Yeah.
hates those people anyway. You're talking about like the celebrities and whatever, but
Well,
everyone hates.
some celebrities and some like YouTubers and stuff. Ooh.
Oh, well, yeah, so you
Yeah.
too, but yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the same thing for like YouTube.
Yeah, no one cares about them either. So
Exactly.
yeah.
But again, it's only because they're only celebrity stuff. So I feel like if this insane story about this dude who wanted to run on for president from TikTok is picking up traction, that should work. But maybe it won't. I don't know.
Yeah, and then once a YouTuber talks about it, another YouTuber will talk about it, then maybe an article will talk about it, and then you're exposed to like older generations and older people. Then
Exactly.
then another article picks it up. If you're interesting enough, people on Twitter will talk about it. People on Twitter talk about it enough.
I mean,
So CNN news will pick it up.
because
Yeah.
if nothing else, Fox News will definitely pick it up to literally try to shoot me out of the sky with a nuke. And well, that's really what I'm betting on. But yes, exactly. That's pretty much exactly what my thought process is.
Well, it depends what your policies are. Are you going for like are you trying to be democratic enough to like Fox News to not get behind you or
I feel like anything is democratic enough for Fox News to not get behind me.
I
But
don't know. I mean, they hated Obama, and Obama wasn't like the most liberal guy either. Like he compromised with Republicans to pass certain things, and they still didn't like him.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's true.
So you know, like, and they loved Trump at first. They loved him. They ate him up. And over time, they liked him a little bit less and they stopped talking about him as much. And then they loved him again.
Well, that's because he kept bothering them. But
Yeah.
well, then they realized that he like ran their entire campaign now, so they have to like him now. Because
Well, yeah.
you said you're 18. You're 18 now.
Yeah.
So were you paying attention when he was like before he ran? Like when he was still talking about it, were you paying attention?
No, I was too young.
Oh, you were too young. I thought, okay, because it's hilarious. I don't know what any of these videos would be called, but they all hated Trump. They all talked crap about him like right before he actually got nominated.
Yeah.
So like because only Trump wanted to run for president. Everyone else just said, sure, you should do it, to stay on his good side. But like nobody actually thought he was going to do it. And then he actually got named the nominee. And that's when it happened. Like that's when everyone started, talking about how he'll be the greatest president ever. Because, well, again, the Republican Party are like, for the most part, well, both Republican parties, for the most part, are robots that have to, side with their side because I don't know, they're all hopeless. I don't know why. It's weird. But that's what happened.
A two-party system is ridiculous. I don't see a
Yes.
point to it. I
Yes, it
really don't.
because I mean,
Trump.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you got it. You got it.
Oh, I was just gonna say because the only reason it was only a two-party system is because that's what they decided before. Because originally, it was only them. They didn't have any need for a bigger system because they were all of like, I don't know, a couple of thousand, 100,000 people, whoever was here when they wrote up when they wrote it up. So it's like I get it then. Like it makes sense when to have a two-party system when there were that few people. Like you only needed a couple of states to, exist. But like after, well, it became the entire country, you know, maybe up the number a little bit.
I feel that way. A lot of it's kind of outdated. Like the electoral college, I feel the same way.
I mean, yeah.
And it's we should be able to just directly vote and the popular vote decides it. I don't think we need representation.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
also think, having, I mean, I don't know how it would work because the internet can be weird sometimes. And I get that a lot of people can't do it, but they should also have, the option to just like, vote online or to actually make it a holiday, like some people say. One or the other.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's BS too. How can we not just do it online already? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I understand like a security risk, like people being able to hack into it, but it's the U.S. government. They should be able to have people whose whole lives are to be or whole livelihoods to be for protecting, that system and looking for errors and everything.
Yeah, they should, but then
Hmm.
again, they can't keep track of all of their own stuff. So what do you expect?
You know what the most interesting thing about Trump's thing was, or Trump's like presidency was, like CNN made this whole thing about Russian interference, and like it was this whole big deal for a long time, and
Yep.
then documents came out, and things said that it wasn't as big, and there was like not much Russian interference or something. I'm not even clear on it. I
Yep.
don't think we'll ever get a straight answer on it.
Oh no.
And now we're saying there was no Russian interference, but CNN just forgot about it, and no one talked about it at all. Like I don't get that. Like that was their whole thing for a while.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Yeah,
because again, that happened. They found all the paperwork. His own son, weirdly enough, had an actual form with his name on it from one of those meetings.
yeah,
But as of right now, nothing can be done about it. Because because that's like the actual law. Because that's why he can't, not be president. You can't arrest or indict or whatever the term is a sitting president. That's literally like how the Constitution was written in some regard. The reason why he can't, the reason why he, can't lose, even though he's already lost, is because as soon as he's not the president anymore, well, then they can arrest him and put him on trial for everything that he's done. So it's not like so much that it's gone away, so much as it's literally waiting behind the wall of, when is it? January the 2nd? I honestly don't know. But that's what's happening.
Yeah, I can't
So
wait to see it.
yeah.
That and the taxes. The
Yeah,
oh,
exactly. That too.
I think it's loophole. I think he used legal loopholes and like was able to kind of just dance around it. That's what happened. I think it's pretty much legal and he found a loophole. But still, I'm sure there's more that we don't know about. I'm
Oh, it
sure there.
definitely is.
Yeah.
Trump winning for president is the most fascinating thing to me because I honestly believe he never thought he was going to win either.
I think
Because
so. I completely agree.
like everything about what he did just seems like he wanted the attention and then he won and then he was stuck so he couldn't back out.
I think he was trying to sell his book. Didn't he have a book out at the time?
He always has a book out. I mean, you're probably right, but he always has something out. So God only knows. But yes, whatever he had, if you're probably right. The Art of the Deal. I don't know if that just came out or if he was just trying to get it sold more after the fact. But yes, he was trying to sell his book.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was something. I guarantee it was something related to that
Yeah,
as some kind of marketing ploy.
but like, but even still, like, you got yourself into this mess, knowing, well, maybe not knowing, assuming that no one would find out about all of the stuff that you did, and then they found out about the stuff you did, and now you're screwed.
And a lot of the stuff you did, his supporters didn't even care. They
Oh yeah,
didn't care.
yeah. I mean, like people keep. I tell people this all the time. Like I don't blame them for Trump. Like because Trump has always been this guy, and it's not like he was ever anybody else. So I mean, again, this was always bound to happen. I mean, they never cared, like legitimately.
I think a lot of the people was, you know, they want their taxes to be lowered. He said a lot of good things. He
Yeah,
did say he was going to do a lot of good things. He said
he
he would come
absolutely.
out with a better health care program than Obamacare, which I highly doubt. And he never did it either. He never
Nope.
did that. He said he would fix infrastructure in this country. He never did that. He said he'd do a lot of great things. And
You
a
you
lot
know.
of people didn't see he was lying.
Nope.
And they wanted it to, they knew all politicians lied. But you can look at the fact checking. He lied a lot more than Obama did. He,
Hmm.
he lied a lot more than Bush. He lied a lot more than Clinton. You can look back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with him is that he didn't even do like the bad stuff that he promised, like the people that he would do. Like this one thing to lie about the good things. Again, everyone lies about the good stuff. But like even to like the stuff that you shouldn't have been promising people, you still didn't do that stuff. Like building this wall, which you barely did, and the part of it that you did build was garbage, like actually garbage. Um, you didn't throw anyone in jail. Like, how do you lie to everyone on your side? Like, it's one thing to lie to people to get the vote, out of hope or helping people or whatever. But you couldn't even do like the underhanded stuff that you were supposed to do correctly. And it's a special type of failure you have to be to not be able to do that right.
That's that's true too. And not only did he fail, um, with building the wall. I mean, yeah, he built something, but it's like you said, it's not great, and it's not what he said it would be. But he shut down the government for a
Yes.
month
Yes, he
to
did.
do that,
Yup.
and then he distracted everyone again with his impeachment.
Yeah.
He failed at all levels of being a president.
Mm-hmm.
He really did. He failed handling a pandemic. He failed. He was almost thrown out of there. He did something so wrong. And he shut down the government. Each three things. Each year, it was another dumb thing he did.
Yes.
It's ridiculous, you know.
But, you know.
Along with policies that I don't agree with. You know, even like the things he promised people, the few things he promised people that he did, I don't even agree with from like an ideological basis.
Well, no.
Yeah. He was for though. He was for getting out of these wars in the Middle East though, which was I was for. I'll give Trump some credit there.
Yeah, I mean,
And he
that's
did
true.
withdraw some soldiers, I think, from Syria. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, because again, and that's still weird because one, it was only like a few, and I think that was more like just to shut everyone up. But like the other one was the one where he wasn't supposed to bring them back from because they were actually on active duty. The people that were like in, I don't know, what was it, Crimea, Turkey? I actually don't remember where. But like, because those guys were actually like there helping like someone we had a treaty with or something. And he just told all of them to just like come back. And everyone had a big fit about that. Like even the other Republicans did. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
that was that's crazy.
Yeah, in the end, a lot of Republicans didn't like him,
No.
which was interesting to see as well.
Yeah.
I just wish, and I don't even, Trump doesn't really even matter too much. Every president's just a figurehead.
Yeah.
They bring a new set of ideologies for uh the next 4 years, and that's what will try to be kind of controlled, and that's what's gonna try to be pushed. But nothing, it doesn't happen like right away, and it's not a huge deal.
Right, exactly. Which again is for the record why. So again, like you asked me, you were about this, you was asking about it too, about like what my goals as president were. It's like I don't well one, I personally don't have any goals. Like my goals are just whatever people generally want me to deal with because at the end of the day, getting all of this stuff dealt with is literally going to be like pushing a metal cube up Mount Everest. So the best I figure it is I will just do random small stuff, which while may not be able to fix anything, it will at least, I don't know, change something. But again, that's just one of my random thoughts that I had.
That yeah, well, it's kind of like that for everyone too.
Yeah,
Yeah, unless you really are at like a breaking point or something major does happen, like a Great Depression or something
well,
along
yeah,
those lines. Or
exactly.
yeah, like a pandemic happened and Trump didn't do anything major to help people. He sent
Well,
out a few stimulus checks.
yes, that's true.
He should have done more.
Yeah,
And he left it to the states to try to decide, and that was a disaster.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of libertarian people liked it, leave the power to the states.
yeah, but they didn't handle it well either. Because at the end of the day, libertarians talk a lot, but they don't actually handle it well. So they kind of screwed themselves over too.
Yeah, yeah. And who's
So
gonna pay for your roadways? Who's gonna pay for something to be maintained? They think a private company will magically do it.
yeah, so
And who's paying that private company?
I mean, because at the end of the day, I wanted to make my own party. One, I don't know how to go about doing that, and two, I realized that I couldn't, because while I technically could, the way that the system is set up, it's nearly impossible to successfully, run like that. So after I realized that the two-party system was completely pointless and no one really cared past what colors you said that you represented, I realized I would just run as Democrat because I can literally run as anything and it wouldn't matter.
That's yeah. It's that's yeah. Any third party or other party just gets pushed to the side,
Yeah,
and it's just a vote for whoever people think will win at the time,
yeah,
for whoever votes for the other party, and it just doesn't really matter that much.
yeah,
That's that's another fault of the two-party system. It doesn't allow for alternative ideas, and so the only it does if a politician decides to be under the name of that party. So like
right,
Andrew Yang was different, was in a different had different UBI, it's an alternative idea. And so he became a Democrat when it's not really traditional democratic policy. I mean, it's more in line with democratic policy than Republican policy.
right,
So yeah, he became a demo. He um, ran as a Democrat.
right,
And so I think that's the best way to go about this as well.
yeah,
So yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of this.
yeah.
Do you see yourself like if you become the president? How would you talk to China and North Korea? Because I think like foreign policy in general, I guess.
See, that's I can't really say because it seems like it's more about ego in that case than like anywhere else. So I think technically I want to say I'd be fine because like as far as like I don't really present myself with my ego, which again is one of the points behind the way that I talk in general. I kind of just like speak at the same, I want to call it flow as whoever it is that I'm talking to. So I would kind of just have to use that to figure it out because in all honesty, I have no idea how to go about that, especially with between North Korea and China, because well, North Korea more wants to be left alone, which, you know, barring everything that they're actually doing, I can somewhat deal with. China's a bigger problem considering what's, well, still going on over there. But I think I'd actually have to wait to figure that out until I see how that all ends up because like that's still going on. That might still be going on in 4 years. So I can't even say right now because that might be completely different by then.
I think that's going to become the next biggest issue. Like as China just keeps on growing and growing and growing
Yeah,
and will overtake the US as they go farther through their industrial revolution and everything.
I mean,
And
yeah, I mean that's true.
and like there's so many different complex issues there with the South China Sea to like the Uyghur Muslims and all that.
Yeah,
And it's so complicated. I don't know president would ever any just whole country is gonna have to be really delicate with that situation. And I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
going to war or doing something radical like that, they have nuclear weapons. And
Yeah,
they do have a strong they are a large military force for the most part. And I don't know and I think Russia, who's another large military force, would be more inclined to side with China on that as well. So, and nuclear war, if that ever breaks out, that's the end of us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
which, that will make me want to live a life like you do of not caring because it's all going to end anyways.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy though? Like to think that this is all going to be over and I don't even know how long. Like this really is just going to be over. The sun's going to explode and we're going to be done.
I mean, I guess it can be. See, I guess some people think of it as crazy. I watch too many doomsday movies to not understand that that's going to happen one way or the other. But like, I mean, not even like, yeah, like not even just humanity. Like the Earth itself is, like, well, doomed to just be destroyed.
It's I don't it doesn't bother me to think about it, but it makes me think more.
Sure.
And I kind of it's just like how much we're all going to die anyways.
Yep.
That'll happen in the future. But then after you want to have like you dream about having, some people dream about having a legacy, being remembered or whatever. Well, even if you're remembered through all that time, the people who remembered you last are still just going to die at that point.
Yeah.
So none of this really matters in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I get that people make themselves. People want to live in a way that leaves a record or you know be remembered or whatever you want to call it. But like eventually, even that record will be wiped out. So I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. All you can do is just do whatever you can now to at least make yourself happy. Now, saying that, I understand that there were people that are like, I don't know, throwing rocks at cars in like the least of what I can think of. And,
Yeah.
try to avoid stuff like that. But there's a medium to it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And even what I'll be curious to see is if the earth destroys itself before the sun blows up, do you think we'll be able to go to Mars at that point? Like we'll have traveled to Mars and like civilization will be established there before the earth like just completely goes to hell.
Yes. Well, again, I don't know, but hypothetically,
None of us know any of this
well,
really.
what I mean is before the Earth like actually blows up. Like if you're asking like if the core of the Earth, if it exists or not, because apparently that's the thing, just like goes nuclear one day. I feel like that's like a ways off because we could tell like if something like that happens because we can survive, what we're doing to the planet. Like it'll
Yeah.
suck, but technically, when all the ice caps inevitably melt because people, you know, can't not have straws or whatever random thing people can't deal with, we could deal with that. I mean, will we all be
Yeah.
on giant boat cities? Probably, but it'll still work out. But like, if the Earth itself actually does like have a cataclysm, then no, I'm pretty sure we're just screwed.
Yeah. I mean, the boat city, I don't think we're quick enough to adapt to the boat cities. Do you
I mean,
think do you think we'd really like be able to like unify that much together? It depends how quick it is. And like what are if we see the telltale signs now, but how like clear they really are when that day comes is really what's going to determine how we react, I think.
I mean that's true, but don't get me wrong. When I say boat cities, I don't mean like the ones that you would see in like sci-fi movies. I mean like Walmart found out what was going on and made a boat city. Because like I don't think that these will be made by people. These are gonna be made by like corporations. Like
Yeah.
Walmart will have one, Disney will have one. Um, those are the only two that I like. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I wanna go to Mars at some point. That would be cool.
I I can't deal with Mars. I mean, I get that people want to go, and I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with specifically going to Mars. I just don't want to go to Mars.
Why?
So essentially, Mars, well, not essentially, it's literally the new frontier. But the problem with that is it's always the same with the new frontier. A bunch of people rush out there to try to, lay their claim to get, whatever new thing that they want or just be known for that. But the problem is when everyone rushes off to do it, stuff gets like crazy really quickly, and people can't keep up with what other people are willing to do to get what they want in that type of situation.
Yeah,
So
that is kind of scary. Like to have to deal with the wild, wild west.
yeah, again, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly what it'll be. It'll
you
be
know, to have to deal with that is too much almost. That is a lot,
oh,
especially for someone as comfortable with modern day, you know, amenities and conflict resolution and all of that. Not like, I
yeah,
mean, we'll really it'll really test human nature
yeah.
and see if we're really better than we used to be, which that's not true. Definitely not true, I don't
There were
think.
like, and I can already see it now. There were two people that are really going to go for that, and that's going to be the actual outdoors people, like the ones that you see on like National Geographic, the mountain men and all of
Yeah.
them, and the people who live in the same city that we live in, who are just saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get out there and show them what I'm made of," and then they get out there, and then the mountain men kick their ass.
That's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
I think yeah. I mean if it becomes a civilization it'll be that way or like if people try to establish civilization right away. I think I think what Elon Musk was aiming for is like a vacation destination almost at first and like regular travel.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like a hotel or
Yeah.
something, but then Elon went Elon, and now he's just trying to make like an apartment complex up there.
Is that what he's doing? I haven't heard about
Oh,
that.
I actually don't know if it's an apartment complex. I was just making a point. But
Yeah.
the point is that he's going overboard in what was originally supposed to be the plan. But
And
yeah,
he's a great mind. I think we need more innovators like him. Even if we're not ready for that kind of technology or that what comes with it, I think it's critical now just to innovate more and more and try to get farther and farther just for our own sake, just for to protect us against what the future holds.
I mean, and that's technically true. And it's like, because that's true. And Elon does a lot of stuff with that. But the problem is, like, he's gone like, I don't want to say he's gone crazy because he technically hasn't. He's just kind of gone like, I don't know what to call it. I guess commercial. I don't know. He's become like the real life Tony Stark, but
That's completely true.
in the worst way. So,
Really?
well, not the worst way, but in like a bad way.
No,
Because,
I get what you're saying, but like how bad is it?
well, it's just like the way that he's just like flipped the way that he used to be just to keep up with his own original progress. Because, like, now, again, I don't know if it's like actually because of anything like about himself, but he's like, you know, he keeps like pushing himself and everyone that works for him harder in order to like keep up with I guess where he's supposed to see himself. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me.
I don't know. I think he's definitely working harder than he ever has
Right,
and pushing people harder than a lot of them have ever had.
right.
And I could see it from that angle specifically. You've done another one of these podcasts?
Yes, I did one at 8.
Oh, nice.
And
Are you just recording them and gonna keep them, or are you gonna edit them? And what's the plan here?
yeah, I'm going to edit them and put them on my YouTube channel, and then I'm just gonna like take clips and put
That's cool.
on the TikTok.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you got a lot of stuff in this one to cover. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that the US will continue to be the leader, or do you think China will just get it right away? Like
I mean,
China's poised to be on top.
they are, but the problem is like, I don't want to say that no one wants China to be on top, but I think that's also kind of true. Most people don't want China to be on top because,
Yeah, that's dangerous. They don't
yeah,
respect human rights. They
yeah.
just don't.
So, it's like, if they won't happen right away, but I mean, it is going to happen. Because, like, even after this, America, like, America is like so stuck in the past, none also a past that doesn't exist. I feel like I have to point out that they won't like let themselves move forward. It's so weird.
I think I think we're it's pretty close-minded.
Yeah,
Like we're tolerant of different types of people, different sexualities, gender, all that, like compared to a lot of like the Middle East and places like that. But like open-minded with new ideas and how to run this country, or like new ideas and how to orient, like we were just talking electoral college and two-party system. Like there's still things like that that just are outdated and don't and just could easily be fixed, and I think would benefit everyone if they were.
well, that's because the government is run by a bunch of old people.
That yeah, and they're paid off too.
Well, yes, but like, I mean, that's true, but I feel like even if they weren't paid off, the problem with the government as a whole is that they're all like the same people. Like,
Yeah,
if everyone, not everyone, but like, if like at least half of them were, I want to say like under 50, it would at least be somewhat better. I mean, they would still definitely be paid off. I'm not saying that that's not true, but like there's a difference between believing in the rhetoric that you're told to spout versus at least just being paid off to do it.
yeah. I don't think they're even thinking about what's better.
No.
Yeah, they're just doing exactly what they're being like. They had their original goal when they first got into politics when they were young or whatever, and then that goal may be aligned with a company's interests or corporation's interests. The corporation pays them, and then they, run with it. Don't think about what's better. They're making good money. They're achieving their own career goals,
Yep.
and some people like them. So I think they're content with that and just try to keep moving forward.
That's why I decided to run for president, like, only, right?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't want to get wrapped up in like actual politics. That actual politics suck.
yeah, it does.
So I'm just gonna go all out and go for president. And if I win, I win. If I lose, well, good. I don't have to be president anymore because I don't want to.
Well, Trump proved that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's a proved hypothesis. That makes it even better.
yeah. He really did open the floodgates.
Yeah, he did. I mean, this will forever be his fault. And
Yeah.
again, if I do win this, I'm not going to let anyone forget that.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't. I think
Right.
it'll I think it'll send a message, either a good one or a bad one. It'll cause something to change and make people think more
Exactly.
if this carries on.
Exactly.
And it'll show for one that the media all they care about is clicks. I think that's what it'll show for one.
Oh, totally.
Two, it'll show that people are easily influenced.
Hmm.
And then three, I think it'll show that like the internet is the biggest thing now and that you can't underestimate it or just purposely it's just what controls everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's other things too, of course, but for now that's what I see it's sending.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And so yes, between those, my my side mission of getting Donald Trump to angry tweet at me,
Right.
um, getting the random comment that they get to play me on SNL. That's another thing that I wanted. Like, nothing about what I'm doing personally is based off of anything good. It's just stuff that I thought of that would also happen after or during me running for president.
Yeah. And it just proves because you can definitely see that happening if this gains traction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those are all things that would very well. I can see just Trump constantly tweeting about you, just streams of just
Oh, I mean, that's
yeah,
absolutely going to be true. I mean, I understand that completely. But
yeah,
then that's why I have to get the first one framed. Because the first when this happens the first time, that'll be when this actually when my plan actually succeeds. Because me being on like Fox News, it doesn't really mean anything. Like I want to just waste their time. I mean, that's true. But at the end of the day, I don't respect Fox News. I mean, I don't actually care. It's just something that I thought would be funny.
right.
But when Donald Trump angry tweets at me, I keep saying angry because that I specifically want it to be an angry tweet. But when that happens, like no one else will be able to ignore it, and it's going to be hilarious when it does happen.
Yeah, it will be. Well, it
So
just shows how gullible they are. Cause you're trolling, but you're honest in the what you think. You're honest in what you think. It's not like, this isn't a character. There's no way this isn't a character, right?
no, I mean,
Yeah, I know a lot of people think that. I don't really think it that much.
yeah, I keep seeing the comments. It's like
Yeah,
if I could be this guy, I would actually be an actor. But this is I've
but
been like this.
if you get on Fox News, will you just like answer questions like, or will you try to put on a different character to like confuse them even more and just to
Oh,
piss them off even
if
more?
I act, well, no, I'm still just going to be myself. Like,
Yeah,
because again, that's the point. But I don't know what I would do if I get there. Like, because
not shower for 5 weeks, just show up there with stuff in your teeth.
like, because I know I've never actually said this. I kept thinking about doing it, but I never actually got. One thing that I wanted to do is if this actually takes off, I have to get like people from like the cosplayers or like costume designers to make my wardrobe. Because once this starts, I refuse to wear like normal suits. I mean it's not gonna be something like, over the top, but I am going to be dressed like what you see in like the businessmen of like cyberpunk, like suits like that. It's like
That would be funny.
exactly. And but yeah, like the entire system is completely ridiculous, and I have no respect for any of it. That's also why I said I want to be sworn in on a PlayStation 5 if I get elected. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if it has to be a book. If it has to be a book, then I don't know. It'll probably be like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
What's that book they teach you in kindergarten? What's the with the bad kid? Do you remember that? What is that?
Oh,
Is that your generation or is that my generation?
crap. I don't know.
He's
School is
like
such
bald. Hold on.
it was such a mess for me. I don't even know anymore. You talking about like Alexander and the Very Bad Day or the
No, not that one. It's he's like a bald. I think this is fairly recent actually.
because I only remember two books. That's Alexander and the Very Bad Day, and the one where the teacher who got who students messed with her so much that she came in as like the worst version of herself and tormented her students.
It's funny that those are the two you remember.
Yeah, those are only two.
That's pessimistic.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But that's
It's I think like Bad Kid. I'm looking it up right now. Bad Kid book. Oh yeah, no, David. Have you seen it? He's like
no.
bald. He's like knocking up. Yeah. He's like he like does bad things the whole time. And they read you that when you're little, or read us it when we were little.
You said it was called No David.
Yeah, no, David.
Like I said, maybe I have no idea.
You might have seen it in like the library or something.
Oh, I've never read this book, but I did. I have seen it before. Yeah,
Yeah. Get sworn in on that.
yeah, 1998.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I've
my
seen this
generation.
book, but yeah. So yeah, okay. But yeah, again, I can totally do that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like none of this. Everyone acts like everything in the world matters, but like it doesn't. Like all of the stuff that we do is nothing but what was it that one Tumblr post called it? Peer pressure from a bunch of dead old people.
I mean,
And
unless you're homeless. Like
what?
like like you can't if you're homeless, you can't I don't know. You're you can't do anything you want to do. None of it matters until it kind of matters where you stop doing what you want to do and you're not happy anymore. So to avoid that,
Yes, that's true. But like, see, that's the problem though. So the entire the entire system is based off of you don't want to end up like that. The problem is that while yes, there are plenty of people that don't want to be in that situation, there are also people that are in that situation that are taking advantage of that situation, which just means that while I'm being told that you don't want to end up like them, simultaneously, some people that live in that same situation are living a better life than you because, well, either they don't want to be involved in the living a normal life anyway, or they have like just like a random side hustle and they really have like the nicest car you can a nicer car than anybody that we ever know.
yeah.
Was like you everything about this system is just off because some of it works and some of it doesn't. Because you can say the same thing for the people that are actually rich. Like some of those people are actually miserable. because, well, they have like depression and they can't deal with it because, well, they have money to deal with it, but it doesn't help them. So now they're all just unhappy buying useless garbage to fill the void. Like no one's happy. Like nothing is happening in the world, well, in this country, because everyone just holds on to their own stupid idea, none of which is working for any of them.
I think
Except,
it's all. Or you
oh,
can talk.
no,
You go.
I was just gonna say, except for like farmers, because farmers actually like farming.
I think it's all about distraction. Like you're distracted with your work, so you can't think about your sadness. You're distracted with your wife. But then if you have a wife, you have everything you ever wanted. It's like if you beat the game, you're bored now,
Yeah,
kind of.
exactly.
And once you get bored, you get sad. And then once you're sad enough, you're depressed.
Yes, I mean, and that's true. It's like,
So then you have to beat another game. And
yeah, but unfortunately, for all the people that are like doing it, that game is, screwing over everyone else, which is kind of the problem that I have right now. Well, it's the kind of problem that we all have right now.
yeah,
So,
everyone who's not playing that game.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or unless you're like living in the woods, but you've managed a way to have electricity and
Exactly.
water and like you're off the
Oh,
books.
yeah, totally. The people that are living off the grid, they
Yeah.
they are probably like the only people that are like 100, well, maybe not 100% happy, because I'm sure they have like some random elk that won't get away from their food supply or something. But
Yeah.
like 90% is still better than what most of us are dealing with.
Yeah. And the direction we're going in isn't promising either.
Oh,
Where it's like more and more people getting rich and more people being poor. I mean, but
yeah,
if the poor find a way, it's all about perspectives, like you were saying earlier. If the poor are happy being poor because their lives are better, and then the new generation of rich are all sad because they worked so hard and they didn't do anything else. They didn't do what they wanted to do. You know, then what is the government going to do? The government's going to have to reevaluate the whole way they think about things
yeah,
and have to like see, okay, these people are contributing somehow. But the government doesn't care about how we feel though. That's the other
no,
thing.
no, they don't.
Yeah. But but then again, if the poor is not happy contributing, but they're happy being lazy and then they're not contributing, and the rich are getting frustrated or with what they're doing to contribute and they just all stop and the poor just stop, then the government will start to care.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. All the once people aren't working, once the economy is just in shambles completely, then the government starts to care.
yeah,
It's just all to control what things get done,
right.
you know. And then it's also to control what other things get done around the world. And then if some people don't want to do what the strong people want to do, the strong people attack them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that happens a lot. It's weird to think about all of it in that simple way.
Yeah.
I don't think they really want you thinking about it in a simple way either.
Well, no, they don't.
Yeah.
That's why, again, that's why the government makes everything complicated, which honestly, I would admire them for if they understood what it was that they were doing. But like they make it so complicated that even they don't actually understand it. They just know that it shuts everyone else up, so they let it continue.
They aren't efficient at all.
No,
Like they don't care. There's so many working parts that in fact just steers away from their original goal to be efficient, becomes inefficient in handling situations,
mm,
and then like the multiple different parts that they try to have working together don't, And the people they're trying to control who follow them don't follow them either and just get lost in it all. It's
You know, when I found out, when I realized that was a thing. Oh, this was probably actually when I realized that the entire system was broken. I think
when
you must. I know you were too young because this was like a while ago. I think this was when Obama was president. When his security detail, the Secret Service, got caught hiring a bunch of prostitutes.
Alex Jones was talking about that. I heard Alex Jones talk about it.
Yes, yes, he did.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have a problem with the fact that they were hiring prostitutes. Again, you guys deal with a lot. Do whatever. My
Yeah.
problem is, how does the Secret Service let anyone find out about anything? You all have to keep everything secret. The fact that this news got leaked is absolute proof for me that none of them know what they are doing.
Of course not. It's just a title. And
So, yeah, that's probably when it actually was.
so much more gets leaked. It's just everyone's too distracted doing what they're supposed to do to actually care, unless you decide to make it your job. But there's not much of a way to make it your job
Yeah,
unless. So yeah.
like the people that the people who just do this, like report on stuff as it happens, those people are crazy. Like, I
Yeah,
admire them for it, but
it's a
my
lot of effort.
yeah,
Very like Alex Jones talks about like not being able to sleep, like health problems, like just just everything going wrong.
yeah, I mean, like they're all like, I get it. You have to, work for your side, but wow,
It's a lot. It's
it
definitely a
is.
lot to pay attention to,
Yeah.
which really anyone in government has to deal with also. Like everyone in every politician.
I mean, that's true. It's like, I guess that's like the small bit of solace that I can take away from that is that while you guys are trying to screw over everyone, I do know you all have to get woken up at 3 a.m. in the morning every time one of these news stories breaks.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
not
like,
like they're trying to screw everyone up while at the same time getting rich and not putting in the work. They definitely are putting in the work and
yes,
having
and
to deal with everything.
right, and that's true, but like, oh my god, it's just like such a mess.
I think you kind of exaggerate how big of a mess it is.
So again, that might be true in like the large scale. The problem is like when you look at these stories independently, it's kind of an issue because you're right. Like technically, if you go by like the whole of it, it's circumstantial. The problem is when you look at them like on a case by case basis, it becomes a bigger issue because at that point you have to look at the people that are being affected by it. And like even the people that aren't affected by so let's say we go by state. Even the people that are in, I don't know any of these. Pennsylvania, I know that they voted blue. Let's say that Pennsylvania's fine, technically speaking, because again, Pennsylvania that's Pennsylvania's being handled fine. But because of what's happening with Pennsylvania, Texas decided to sue Pennsylvania. And it kind of just becomes this whole snowball of a problem.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is that I'm talking about. Like, because you're right. It's not like everything is burning down around us. The problem is like there's a line of gas that's currently on fire that's eventually going to reach the gas tank or whatever you want to call it. But, you know.
I think so. There's a few like common like trends, patterns almost that we see of like. I feel like there's always a better way it could be handled,
Sure.
and I don't think the government always looks for the best way to handle it, and instead have to act within these certain constraints that they develop themselves. So if we could just eliminate some of those constraints, like lobbyists around them saying what they want to say, and then also their own personal beliefs, not wanting to or lose their voters or lose all those little constraints completely just take away from the true aim of it and aim to find a solution to these problems.
Sure.
So if we can, I don't know how many of these constraints that you can eliminate, but but I think they should find a way to do that, because it
Mm,
really does like dull their message, and it eliminates great ideas that could actually fix things.
yeah, I mean that's true.
Yeah. Like, and you were saying the problem. So what I mean by the problem being exaggerated is, yeah, so you look at something like that, that's a pretty big deal because it controls everything. But it's subtle in a way that they're still coming up with a solution. So if you look at that little like problem, being not the best one, and then think it gets all over, I think that's not being completely honest, because they're finding a solution. You have to look for some kind of solution in the end.
Yes, that's true.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really though tough to gauge how big of a problem it is, because they don't really allow it to go to like a huge scale, and if it does, they just hide it from us.
Well, yes, that's all
Yeah.
true.
So that's really basically, to sum it all up, we don't know.
Right.
We really don't know. And we're both here talking like we know everything. We don't know.
Yeah.
Which everyone talking doesn't know.
Right.
Even the people involved don't know, and that's your whole point.
Exactly. That's
Prove that they
really
don't
exactly my
know.
point. The reason why I'm blowing it out of proportion is because even they don't know what's happening. Like, I would be fine to let other people deal with it if someone actually had a clue what was actually going on.
It
But
scares people too much, though. It
oh,
scares people.
absolutely.
They don't like it. They don't like to deal with the uncertainty. So the
Yeah,
president has to be strong and act like he knows everything.
exactly. Which is
Yeah.
why I think I can do it. I mean, again,
Yeah, anyone can act.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to be that smart to read a teleprompter. You don't have to, have all the answers, do all the research.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly my point. I don't have to know it. All I have to do is be able to understand what I'm being told by the, what is it, 12 people that make up the cabinet? I don't know if it's actually 12. I just made up a number. But the random number of people that make up my cabinet who actually know what's going on.
Right.
And then I throw in my 2 cents, someone else throws in their 2 cents, and eventually we figure out an answer.
Yeah. That's the only way to look at it.
So, I mean, it's not like people keep, and this isn't just about me, this is about like everyone who like runs for president, who runs for any office, I guess. People like ask them directly what they think about every situation. And it's like, that's not really a fair question to ask them for like two reasons.